please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Welcome back. Markets holding out despite the inauguration of the earnings season not quite being what the doctors ordered. South Indian Bank a little under the weather in terms of its provisioning. But my sense is that the market should have anticipated that. That's the loan book growth. I won't complain about a 12.5% growth really under the circumstances. After all, the sector that South Indian Bank caters to was hit by two continuous disruptions. First, the demonetization, and then the destocking and other disruptions related to the GST. So loan growth at about 13% is still par for the course. It's still good actually. The problem, okay, that's the net interest margin number. I mean, I think 2.87 is still an improvement over the previous quarter. It would still be regarded as a good number. Stock not recovering, that's the pain. Maybe you want to go to the other stocks that are moving?
Absolutely. Let's move on, then we'll address South Indian Bank in a bit. But let's move to our movers and shakers then. Let's start off with Ekta. She's joining in to tell us what's going on with regard to Biocon. Ekta.
Well, we all know that Biocon has...
Joining in to tell us what's going on with regard to Biocon. Ekta.
Well, we all know that Biocon has received a complete response letter from the US FDA with regards to the biosimilar filing which they had for the cancer cancer drug Pegfilgrastim or Neulasta. So now what the US FDA has said is that basically they don't have an issue with really the drug per se. So for example, the drug per se has met the criteria, or it hasn't really been brought up in the complete response letter. But what the US FDA has asked for is additional information from the facility where it has been filed. Now, on deeper understanding, remember that the US FDA had inspected the facility in the early part or on the first half of 2017. There were some observations brought up, and the company has undertaken some remediation, and post that there is some information which is needed on Pegfilgrastim in terms of studies from that plant post all of the changes which Biocon has undertaken. So there is an additional exchange of information, but Biocon is confident that they'll stick by the commercialization date of end of 2018. Remember, it's around a $4 billion drug, and with the majority of the market size being in the US. This is a partnership that Biocon and Mylan have with regards to biosimilars. In fact, let's listen in to what the management has to say.
The facility modifications that we undertook were part of the corrective and preventive actions that we had communicated to the FDA in response to the audit. The FDA so far has neither indicated the requirement for a reinspection, nor have they said that they need any further corrective actions beyond what we have already previously committed to them. As part of our facility modifications, we had to requalify the facility. That is work in progress. That is an ongoing activity, and that activity was not completed by the target action date. So we expect to complete that, and once we complete that, we need to furnish that information to the FDA. Encouraging part is that there is no requirement for additional data related to any of the process or clinical or immunogenicity or any of those other technical aspects.
All right, so Abhishek has got for us the crucial number. Slippages is only 252 crore compared to 686 crore last quarter. Well, methinks that's a positive as far as the bank is concerned. It appears that this provisioning is high also because they sold one of their stressed assets at a discount to the ARC, and therefore they had to provide for that NPV loss or for that discount to the book. And the discount extent was provided for, and that led to the higher provisioning. The South Indian Bank quote here, corporate book grew by 4%. Okay, it looks like under the circumstances, the provisioning is the only ugly number. The rest of it looks like, actually an improvement. The slippages have gone down dramatically, or the rate of growth of slippages is definitely under control. The fresh generation of NPLs is under control. The provisioning is for probably a sale of an asset to an ARC at a discount, which means it's a balance sheet that is recovering, that is under repair, and the repairs are, causing whatever damage, but Basically, it's not fresh seepages or leakages of funds, and I would therefore consider that as a positive. The stock, of course, is not budging.
Okay, all right. So I think a small recovery is what we're seeing from the low point of the day. It was down 7.5%. Once we put up those slippages numbers, we've seen a very mild recovery. Let's see where it goes from here. But Anisha is standing by. She's got some good news, I believe, on NCC. Anisha.
Well, yes, the good news coming in for NCC, and that is from the NBCC analysts meet, and the analysts are telling me that they heard that NBCC is about to order and give an order of around 2,000 odd crores to NCC. Now, this is regarding a colony redevelopment in Nauroji Nagar in Delhi. The completion timeline is 24 months. The inflows for NCC have been pretty impressive this year. We have been hearing a lot of order inflows at around 6,100 odd crores. At the end of Q1, they already had an L1 position of around 2,500 to 3,000 odd crores, clearly putting the company in a very good position to beat their guidance as far as order inflows is concerned, and perhaps achieve the previous single year high number as far as FY18 is concerned. So things looking up for NCC as far as order inflows is concerned. Let's see how the execution goes from there, and also the debt repayment as well. Back to you.
Yep, of course, one of those infrastructure companies that has not spoilt its book and now getting orders. That's positive for NCC, up 4%. Ekta, back to you again on Lupin.
Well, yes, it's more of a sentiment positive for Lupin because they've received a US FDA approval from their Nagpur plant. So this they've got final approval for a hypertension drug, which is basically also used for chest pain, which is called gCorgard generic or Nadolol tablets. So the market size is not that big. It's around $110 million. But the sentiment uptake is probably on the back of the fact that they've received US approvals from their Nagpur facility, and hence that would be a positive, considering that there was a bit of a sluggishness when approvals had stopped coming recently.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Ekta. Well, okay, I thought we could start discussing Infosys at the record date, but Anisha, we are back to you. There is this big deal. Adani Transmission and Rel Infra will be locked in an exclusivity period.
Well, yes, exclusivity period till 15 January 2018, and this is for the entire Mumbai asset, which includes generation, transmission and distribution, which is interesting from the point of Adani Transmission because it's the first time they will be getting into the distribution and generation side of the business. But the good news for them is that this is a regulated business, and that should go down well with the street. Now, very importantly, the press release itself mentions that there is no certainty that the transaction will fructify. This is just an exclusivity deal, and Reliance Infra, of course, is going to utilize the proceeds to pay down their debt. The details of Mumbai business should come up for you on the screen. Now, as per the analysts, the Mumbai business contributed around 2 to 2,500 crores as far as EBITDA is concerned, 1/3 of their EBITDA and revenue. The debt picture was the real problem for the company, 30,000 odd crores as of FY17. The interest coverage ratio has been below the 1 mark for the last 10-11 quarters. Now, as per analysts, if you look at the valuation breakup, the total regulated equity of the business is around 3,350 crores. The regulatory debt is around 3,500 odd crores, and they have additional regulatory assets of around 1,800 odd crores. And if you do the math together, the enterprise value of these assets can be around 10 to 11,000 odd crores, and hence the deal value can anywhere between be 10 to 14,000 odd crores. Now, what we need to know is what valuation does the deal happen at. We also need to know whether Reliance Infrastructure is looking for entire divestment or just a part of it, because remember, with the Canadian pension fund, they were just looking to divest 49% stake. As far as Adani Transmission is concerned, the street is reading it positively. They have the balance sheet strength. The free cash flow distribution is expected to be 1,000 crores going forward as per Edelweiss. So things looking up for Adani Transmission, especially because it is a regulated business, and they have been very aggressive as far as the acquisition is concerned. Back to you.
Okay, Anisha, thanks so much for that. Well, let's focus on the big boy, Infosys. Everyone's been talking about leadership. Where will leadership come? I'll tell you what, in the last 4 trading sessions, Infosys has been on a winning streak. It was at around that 895 levels odd, and we here at CNBC TV18 had alerted you that it's likely that we could be seeing the record date being announced by the company. That happened late last evening. In fact, the record date, if you want to participate in the buyback, the record date is November 1st. So let's pull that up for you. So if you have the shares as of October 31st, well, you'll be eligible for that buyback. What's the total quantum? That's already, we already knew that. 13,000 crores is what they were looking to spend, and the buyback price at around 1,150 rupees. That's the reason why, in fact, there has been some support on the stock, 4% in 4 trading sessions, and that, in fact, has come into bat for the Nifty.
Okay, thank you very much for spotting that and alerting us, Nigel. You saw that sharply moving upturn in the price chart for the past 1 week, and that, of course, was noticed only by Nigel, and he smelt that probably the record date is getting announced. That's November 1st. We got the announcement late yesterday. We will take a break on that note. Okay, not before we recap the buzzing stocks. We have Adani Transmission and Reliance Infra as buzzing stocks. The Reliance Infra has given up early gains. Biocon buzzing after it got a clearance, kind of a cautionary clearance for its drug. Infosys record date, NCC big order, Lupin. Again, positive news from the drug controller and South Indian Bank, where the numbers have disappointed because of high provisions. Quick break. We are back with our technical experts to tell us where the charts go from here. Ashwini Gujral and Prakash Gaba in a minute.
Doing their bit today. That's why we're seeing the relative outperformance coming from mid caps and a couple of smaller stocks that I'm looking at. One is Rajshri Sugar. When we started off the show, well, it was up only around 1%. Now it's up close to around 10%. So let's pull up the intraday chart over there. And Saregama, that's been a big gainer. Just take a look at that stock. In fact, it's up close to around 14% as we speak. But time to get a quick technical check on the markets. We have Ashwini Gujral as well as Prakash Gaba. Ashwini, coming across to you. How are we looking? We are virtually unmoved in the last couple of hours. We're stuck in this range.
Well, still uptrend. You can't move higher 100 points every day. But overall, you know, there are several strong stocks which are leading the market higher. The pain point is the banks. You know, each time Bank Nifty starts to rally, you know, something happens. But over a period of time, I think we will move back towards 10,150, 200. So these sort of dips should be bought into. As far as individual stocks are concerned, I think L&T Finance is a buy with a stop of 195, target of 212. Bata is a buy with a stop of 770, target of 795. And Sun TV is a buy with a stop of 806, target of 830.
Okay, just coming back to you for more, Ashwini. Prakash, good afternoon to you. What would you trade?
Good afternoon. I would like to trade two stocks. So far, Nifty looks okay. So two stocks on the long side. Apollo Hospital is a stock that can climb to levels closer to around 1100 zones. Stop below 1058 should be fine. I like Biocon. Seen a good up move, consolidation and a fresh up move has started. Looks like it can climb to levels closer to 367, 368 zones. Stop below 348.
Okay, Ashwini, just a couple of more questions. Is there still headroom to grow in Soba after a meteoric rise yesterday? It's kind of pulling back a bit. Is this a time to get in?
Well, generally